Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to discuss about one-to-one mapping using XML. And there are two ways to perform one-to-one mapping in Hibernate by using many to one element and unique equal to true attribute, using unique equal to true attribute, and by using one-to-one element. Here we are going to perform one-to-one mapping by using one-to-one element. In such a case, no foreign key is created in the primary table. And the best example for this one-to-one mapping is one employee can have only one address and one address belongs to only one employee. And here we are using bidirectional association. So we'll go into the program one-to-one mapping. First I had created one Java project with name one-to-one mapping 2. Then inside the source I had created one project com.java point. Then I had created one address Pojo class. Inside the address Pojo class, I have used the properties integer address ID and string address line 1, string city, string state, and string country, and integer pin code. And these are the and one private employee. I'm creating a reference for the employee. And these are the setters and getter methods. Then after the address class, I had created one employee class, Pojo class, and this employee class contains properties, integer employee ID, string name and email, and private address. I am creating a reference for the address class. Then I am writing the setters and getter methods. Then each employee will contain only one address and one address belongs to only one employee. And next I have created two mapping files and one configuration file. This hibernate.cfg.xml is the configuration file which contains the properties. HPM2 ddl.auto is the update and dialect I am using MySQL dialect and connection.url I am using the URL of MySQL. Username is loop code, password is loop code and driver. This is the driver for MySQL com.mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. And I'm including the two mapping files employee.hpm.xml and address.hpm.xml. Then inside the employee.hpm.xml, I am defining the class name as package name followed by the Pojo class name of employee and table is emp212 and ID name is employee ID, generator class is increment, property name is name and property name is email. And one-to-one name is equal to address, cascade equal to all, and this is the employee mapping file. And inside address mapping file, class name is com.java2point.address and table I'm taking as address 212 and ID name is address ID, generator class is foreign and param name is property, employee, and the property names are address line 1, city, state, country, pin code, and one-to-one name is employee. And before running this example, go to MySQL database and you need to create two tables for EMP212, EMP212, create one table for EMP212 with employee ID into 10 primary key auto increment, name is varchar 50, and email is varchar 50. And next, create a table for address 212 with address ID integer of 10, primary key auto increment, address line 1 varchar of 100, city varchar of 50, state of varchar 50, country varchar of 50, pin code integer 6. Then after that, go back to Eclipse. Then I have written two classes here. First, you need to store the records, that is store.java. First, I am using this standard service registry equal to new standard service registry builder dot configure the Hibernate configuration file and meta equal to new metadata sources of SSR dot get meta builder dot build. And after this, I'm creating an object for the employee, Pojo class employee 1 equal to new employee. Then I am setting the name for this employee and storing in this Pojo class object. I also setting the email and storing in this Pojo class object. For example, I'll set the name as Scott and I'll set the email as gmail.com and some other address. And country is Australia. Then next, then create an object for the address one equal to new address, and then set the address line and store in the address object. And similarly set the city and store in the address object, set the state, country and pin code and store in the address object. Then store this address one object into the employee even object. And then address one dot set employee of even and store this employee object into address one object. Then session dot persist of even. T dot transaction dot commit and session dot close. So when you run this application, you say run as Java application. The application is running now. And, it says the output is success. So you go back to this database and check whether the record is inserted or stored or not. Yes, the record is stored as employee ID is to Scott and Scott at gmail.com. And you check the address 212 table also. Address is also stored here. So again, go back to Eclipse and you can run this fetch.java also. For fetch, what we are doing, we're fetching the records and displaying the records. Here, type query equal to session dot create query from employee and create object for instance for the list interface equal to query dot get result list. Then iterator itr equal to list dot iterator, while iterator dot has next. If any next records are there, then employee emp equal to iterator dot next. Then emp dot get employee id, emp dot get name and emp dot get email. Similarly, address equal to emp dot get address, then address dot get address line 1, get city, get state, get country and get pin code. So once you run this application, then your records will be fetched now. So your two records are fetched now. So this is about one-to-one mapping. Hope you understood this program. So I'll continue in the next class. Okay, thank you.